Magandang gabi, Pilipinas. Yes, it is I again back for Youth Talks episode, and this is the final one. So we've got an amazing guest. We've got to go out with a huge blow, guys. So we've got the best of them all. Plants, everything about plants. We'll talk about them tonight. Okay, we have the beautiful and amazing Miss Gretchen Fullido. Hello, Miss Gretch. I mean, Ate Gretch. Hi,
Hey
Ate Gretch.
girl!
Good evening.
Hi!
How
Hello
are you?
everybody
How are you?
watching.
How are you?
I'm super good. I just actually finished work, so that's why I'm all made up. I just finished TV Patrol, but anything
Wow.
to talk about the plant. So
Yes, the plants. Okay. Okay. Ate Gretch, I have a question that I love asking all my guests. And I think all the plant moms, plant dads, plant titos and titas would love to know your answer to this question. It's this, okay. Miss Gretch, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay,
yeah.
here we go. So, Ate Gretch, are you a risk taker or safe player?
When it comes to my plants, I'm a risk taker.
Okay. How?
Well, you just go through lengths that you never expected yourself to do, like shipping plants and not sleeping for days until it arrives, not knowing what will happen when it opens from the box. Because when you ship plants from different countries, with permits, of course,
Of
there's a
course.
chance that they always get like shock or transit shock. They get stressed. And when you open the box or whatever, kung malayo man, they'll be in a box for a week or two, you never know if they're still alive. So it's
Yeah,
like, oh
exactly.
my gosh, Lord. So I'd always be praying really hard.
Yeah.
And I also do a lot of propagations. So I
Mm-hmm.
cut it from my mother plants and then I hope for the best if they would actually root up. This has been in water for 2 years. I don't want to plant it into soil. This is a Monstera constellation because I just love looking at the roots. They look like spaghetti. So when it comes to my plants, I sometimes stay up until 5 o'clock in the morning trying to save a plant that suffered root rot or trying to propagate something. So I learned so much about myself when it came to planting because it's like you are the doctor of your plants. They're not something that you could just get and then bahala ka na sa life mo. You can stay in one corner. Of course not.
Yeah,
They're
of
living
course not.
things. So I constantly monitor them. They do take a lot of my time, but they also give me so much fulfillment because whenever I would see, for example, this is my philodendron pink princess, and this is the new leaf coming out that's pink. Whenever I would see a new leaf come out, it feels like I did something right. Or at least I know it's a healthy plant, it's happy, it's thriving, because you can instantly tell if a plant is not happy. You can see it from the leaves. They're drooping. They look like they're dying. They're brown. They're like yellowing. So I learned so much from planting, even just by the look of a plant. Looking
Mm-hmm.
at the leaf, I know if a plant is not happy. So I know if
Wow.
it's overwatered or the soil is not good, it's not draining. I need to change the soil. I need to change it and put it in a brighter location. It needs more sun. So I would say I'm a risk taker when it comes to my plants. That's why they're this much because you can never
Oh
get
yeah.
enough. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't
Wow.
want to say like it's an addiction or it's like yes I may have a hoarder personality a little, but it's because
A little.
I wanna mimic the feel of having nature inside my home. And
Yeah.
it started a few years back when I moved to my new place. I really didn't get to like conceptualize what look I wanted. I just said I want all white walls, gray doors, gold accents and stuff like that, a lot of mirrors and glass. But when it came to little details, I just wanted to be an empty canvas. So that like
Yeah.
now I have a jungle. Like parang bigla na lang
Yeah.
the plants took over. It's because I think a lot of people got into indoor gardening also and planting this pandemic. One, you can't go out of the house. Two, you're getting anxiety and depression. The feeling of uncertainty also is um, at an all-time high. So seeing something good happening inside your home, seeing that the plant is surviving, growing, vining, creeping,
Mm-hmm.
crawling, parang
Yeah.
it's just
It's
you
really a
know,
sense of fulfillment for even even me, like when I look at my mom's, because my mom is also a plantita. at the Gretch. And and I look at my mom's plants and I could remember the start of quarantine. They were not that big and they were also not that many. I could
Yes.
still see the walls in the yard. Now it's just green. So,
Yeah.
and you also mentioned that 2 years back you already had that thought. And I know I've seen your Instagram. You, before this whole plantita wave of the pandemic started, you were already a certified plantita. You deserve like a plaque or like a medal. I'm a legit plantita. And so, can you please tell us like when and how did this start? Like,
I
please
think it
dig.
started about when I moved here about 3 years ago. And like I said, the walls were just white and it just felt so empty. And at that time, I was
Yeah.
also going through something very challenging in my life, and which caused me to be anxious, worried, depressed. It was really a very challenging time. So I said to myself, I needed something that would lighten up the home because I couldn't go
Hmm.
out of the house. I was scared to go out of the house for my security and privacy about that happening. So I was looking at social media and I was getting inspiration from Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook about looks in the home. When you have a new place or you're redecorating your room, you want to get some inspiration. Oh, this is what I want. Oh, I think this would
Hmm.
work. And I thought about putting a plant to maybe in a corner. That's my very first plant there, the yucca, which is reaching
Oh,
up the
okay.
ceiling now. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so yeah, and then the feeling of having nature. Remember, when you're going through something, you try to want to escape, but then because of circumstance, you can't go out of the house, you can't travel
Mm,
that much. So
exactly.
what
Yeah.
I thought about doing is making my home my sanctuary, my haven, my calm, my peace, my zen area. So
Wow.
I actually encourage people to have a little zen area in their home, or like a
Hmm.
little quiet place with some plants, read a book there. Just that little area where nothing can go wrong, and it's just calmness
Yeah.
and peace and
It's the safe
happiness.
corner, safe
And
place in
safe
the home.
corner. Yeah, or even if
Yeah.
you're working from home, maybe while you're always on your laptop, maybe studying or working, you have a little plant there because
Hmm.
there is psychological effect of the color green towards all of us. It has an effect mentally, psychologically, that the color green has a relaxing benefit for us. So that's
Yeah.
why when you look at a garden, or if you go out into nature, parang the look of greens, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can
Exactly. And
breathe more.
And I also
Yeah,
think of it, Ate Gretch Banga, like there's a reason that parks are filled with trees. It's because it's really a calming feeling, when you go to the park or when you go to a forest or when you even just go to a tree, you feel the breeze better, the air is just a lot cleaner. And like I have a feeling that's really one of the reasons why this whole plant wave, plant apocalypse started. Because like ever since the whole lockdown started, people have been very stressed, very tight. I mean, I want to ask you, since you're the plantita here, why do you think like during the pandemic, like plants really got popular? Like, diba? It's the calmness, right? It's just the
one,
overall sense. Yeah.
that I think one. Yes, and also people can't go out of their homes. So, you try to take care of something that you can manage at home, something that
Hmm.
thrives. Even if it's chaotic outside, it's uncertain, the virus is scary, you don't want to go out. I think that if there's something beautiful happening inside your home, which is the plants flourishing, it also gives you that sense of fulfillment that, I'm doing something right. Number two, the energy in the home changes when you put plants in. Not just that, the
Yeah.
air quality improves. And somehow, when I had a lot of
Hmm.
plants placed inside my home, I felt that my place became a little parang cooler. I don't know if it's psychological, but
Cooler.
I know the energy definitely lightened up. And whenever I would wake up in the morning, it's like going to talk to them. You're like, "How are you today? You look so gorgeous," and stuff like that. Oh, why
Yeah.
don't die? So it's like I also have 5 dogs, so I feel like they're also my babies. Like my dogs have, I mean, they can bark, they can play with
Yeah.
you. Cats can't really move and talk to you, right? And make noise. That's scary if they do. But they tell you that they're happy. But they tell
Yeah.
you that they're happy based on how they grow. So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
it's an exchange of energy. You give them your love, your time, your effort, your TLC, your attention. They give you back beauty. They give you back beautiful leaves. They show you that I'm growing. They're
Yeah.
showing you I'm healthy. Look at me, mommy. You're doing something right. You're taking care of me
Wow.
well. So I think that's the benefit of why people also got into. I don't think it's a trend. People just started to realize that the small things really matters. Leaves unfurling. Wow, it's a big deal. Before your life, okay.
Yeah.
Parang you walk in a
Yeah.
park, there's a bush there, a bunch of flowers. Wala lang.
Yeah.
Para lang
Yeah.
silang
Now
decoration.
the
But
people can see the bigger picture of plants,
yes,
that they're just not something that just grows in the kilid in the side.
yes,
There's actually something big. Like there's a life, that's life right there. They have their own, like,
agree.
it's like an ecosystem. And okay, since I've always wanted to ask this ever since the start of this interview, Ate Gretch, as of the moment, how many plants do you have?
I honestly cannot answer your question because there's too much. And number two, like I said, I propagate my plants. So this plant can become three plants eventually.
Mm,
So they just keep multiplying. I actually lost count and I don't want to count them. I
yeah,
just let
yeah,
them be.
yeah.
Like this one, this started when I cut this with just two leaves 2 years ago. Now it has
Hmm.
five growing. There's another one
Wow.
growing. This is a variegated monstera. That's why it's quite a slow grower. It
Hmm.
probably gives you a new baby about 2 to 3 months. Pero yung regular
Oh,
monstera can give you more. So this is even a harder one to propagate. This is the
wow.
very expensive monstera albo variegata.
Oh, wow,
So
wow,
the white
we.
variegation is actually an abnormality. It's really super in demand now, and even the price is really ridiculous. So parang dying to
Ridiculous, all
have one.
right.
But I'm also gonna tell people to manage their expectations with variegated plants. This is a variegated alocasia.
Hmm.
Um, the
Oh, the
white
leaf is
variegation,
big.
it's really big. So the white variegation in plants, it's beautiful, I'm gonna tell you, but it's also what makes it even more challenging to take care of. Perfect example, the white variegation here, because it lacks chlorophyll, o di ba magsa-science class pa tayo ngayon?
Science, science.
So because it lacks chlorophyll, it has a hard time processing sunlight. And they need sunlight for energy for their food and for them to grow. So what happens is it turns brown with the right conditions, maybe humidity, sunlight, hindi niya nakakayanan. So what happens is para siyang punit-punit because it's
Mm,
so hard to maintain the white variegation of variegated plants. And that's why they're also very expensive. It's because they're very rare. The abnormality of the variegated plants also is, ano siya parang every regular plant, all the green monsteras, you can have 1,000 of them and maybe just about 50 of these.
wow,
So parang
they're
it's
really
very hard
rare.
to get. They're
Yeah.
rare.
And I
And the
just I just
variegation,
like to reflect also at the Gretch. Like it's I'm a very reflective person. I'm so sorry to cut you off. Like I what I got from that was basically like that's living proof that once abnormalities can turn into beauty. Like that's what makes that plant so beautiful. Like what you said, like 1,000 and only 50, around 50
yeah,
can
or
just look
even
like that.
less, or even less.
Ah,
And by
God.
the way, the variegation is very random. Sometimes I should have gotten my other plant there. The variegation could be this is all white. It could be an all white leaf, but that doesn't guarantee that that leaf can survive because it's white, meaning there's no chlorophyll.
Yeah.
So I like this plant so much because it surprises you. You never know what the next color would be, or the variegation, or if it's going to be white, if it's going to revert to green, or it's going to be marbleized, or there's just a white patch here. It's really
Yeah.
random. It's really the gene mutation of the plant. So I also feel like a student again because I would also tell people who want to get into indoor gardening, planting, gardening, to do your research before getting any plant. Like each one of these, I had to study the water needs, sunlight needs, humidity, what kind of soil they want, how much
Hmm.
watering frequency. So it's not one. It's not like one thing fits all. it depends per plant. There will be plants that doesn't really like water. There are plants who like soaky water, but kanya-kanya eh. There's so many
Yeah.
varieties, thousands of varieties. I would be lying to you if I said alam ko sila lahat. Of course not. But I would
Yeah.
say that, the varieties that I have are the ones that I really, really want. I have more plants that I still want to get. I'm trying to source them because they're really hard to find. But if you're
Mhm.
just starting, I would suggest that you get something that is manageable, that is not so hard to take care of, because of course plants now are like times 10 the price of what they were before, especially the rare ones. And even the regular ones or the common ones have really increased their price, as in talagang price hike to the highest level. So
Yeah.
if you're going to start with something, I would suggest something that is not, I know it's a very funny way to say it. Well, yung pag may nangyari, hindi masakit sa bangs
Yeah,
na
yeah,
you won't have a heart attack. Like, I lost thousands X amount of pesos with this plant because I didn't know how to take care of it. So
yeah.
I would say that if you're starting out, I had a head start, but there are other people who are way ahead of me. I'm actually just like a baby planter. I'm not
Wow.
even going to call myself an expert. Of course not. But I'm just sharing my journey when it comes to my plants and my
Yes.
Instagram. I actually made an Instagram page at Plantita Greta for my plants, particularly. And then now in my YouTube, I resurrected it and I'm more focused on just sharing my tips for plants, advice. And, I also like learning from other people. So I always
Mhm.
encourage them to share what they know, how I propagate my plants, how I take care of my plants, and stuff like that. Because I also got inspiration from other people. And if I know that I could help some beginners, because I'm not kidding you, my DMs, my Instagram, and
Yeah.
I get random messages on Facebook and my Facebook page, asking me all sorts of questions. Miss Gretch, why is the leaf like that? Is this root rot? What am I gonna do? So basically, I've been helping people even from before. Based on my experience, the knowledge that I have, I know I'm not a scientist or like a plant doctor. I was saying nga, sana I studied more biology and agriculture in UP Diliman. Baka sana, di ba? Pero I was just saying, like, you never stop learning. So this is
Yeah.
something that I'm so happy. I feel like I'm a student in life again. I learn so much from my plants every day. I learn more techniques, what not to do, what to do. Oh no. Even if I was doing it right for a long time, for years, one day, because it's a living thing, something can go wrong. There could be bacteria, the moisture's too much, and all hell breaks loose and your plant gets sick. It's like
Yeah.
parang tao lang yan eh. We're suddenly okay and then our immune system goes
Out of
down for
nowhere.
whatever
Yeah.
reason. So
Yeah.
um it's basically like that. And even when you do cuttings, of course you make a wound. And if we talk about root rot, I know it's more of a technical term, but that really happens. It's
Yeah.
really bacteria infesting the plant and eating it. I would say root rot to me, if we would compare it to humans, it's like cancer because kumakalat siya, nagme-metastasize siya. And if you don't catch it early enough, it will kill your plant. So
Mhm.
those are things that I learned. Theory is one thing, reading up on it. I've read so much online articles. I've also followed a lot of people in the plant community. I made so much friends, of course, in the plant
Yeah.
community. Dapat good vibes lang. This is not a competition, guys.
Absolutely. Yes. The
This
good
is like
vibes.
us. It's not about having the highly coveted plant, the most expensive plant. It's really what plant that speaks to you. And also for people who are gonna start and if they're buying plants, it's not about what's in. You have to make a connection with the plant because you're the one who's gonna be the caretaker of this plant. So
Mhm.
if you're gonna get plants, don't think na parang oh kasi uso yan. You have to build a connection with it. Even if you buy online, I would honestly say that how I know a plant is meant for me is when I look at the photo of it, I would actually ask, let's say, the seller, can I see more photos? Can you send me a video, all angles? Because I want to connect to the plant. Kasi mafe-feel mo yun kung meant to be kayo na, oh
Yeah.
my God, I really need that in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. It
I
just hits
cannot sleep. I
different if
need
you
more.
really want it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you build the connection. I used to love going to nurseries when there was
Mhm.
no pandemic yet. I would literally go through the garden, look at them all, and there would be just this shining thing that would sparkle like, take me home, Gretchen. And I'd be like, I need that in my life. So, there are things that you build a connection with. Um, you build a connection with your plants and they also build a
Yeah.
connection. It's something
Mm-hmm.
unexplainable and people might think, ay naku, nababaliw na yan o naloloka na. She talks to her plants, she sings to her plants. But
Yeah.
there's this burst of internal joy that I can't explain that they give me. And
Mm-hmm.
parang, yun. And then eventually you just talk to them and tell them, oh, don't die ha. Oh, kamusta ka? Is your leaf okay? Do you need watering na? So para rin siyang pet, hindi lang siya
Yeah.
nagre-respond.
It's like it's like your children, but they're mute.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But they're
they
mute.
communicate by showing, they're a shower, not a talker.
You
Yeah.
could
And
really tell. You could really tell from the leaf.
yeah, I can even tell from here at the Gretchen, your plants look happy.
Do
They are
they? Do
green
they
as green.
naman?
Yes, absolutely. And they're like, they're like, they're doing this basically. They're doing that. Okay. But I want to ask, like, because you have so many. This, I have a feeling that you might not have an answer for this. Do you know which one is your favorite?
I can't say everybody don't wanna hear naman there's a favorite child. Then there
Yeah.
is a specific favorite per variety. Like I really love anthuriums, this clarivarium, this Jemani eye. This is actually a hybrid that it's so hard because in philodendrons we have this pink princess, we have the glorious, gloriosum, the alocasia, the variegated, the
Whoa,
melano, and so
whoa,
there's
whoa,
just so so
whoa.
I can't tell you na parang, oh, this is just my favorite plant and everything else is second and third. No, I love them
Mhm.
all equally. There are just some that needs more attention. So may mga special children ako na talagang to talk.
Special children.
Yeah, because ano talaga sila, like they're needy. You know that parang
Mm.
they want more attention. They're mas sensitive. This Calathea orbifolia, it's very hard to keep the leaves of this very unblemished. It loves humidity and it really develops brown spots in the edges or brown or dots, ganyan. So to
Mhm.
keep this really unblemished is kind of hard. One of the most challenging plants also na naluloka ako is the begonias. The begonia maculata, whitey eye, and the
Wow.
crackling rosy, the other begonias, they're really maarte. One day they're this lush,
Marte.
tomorrow you could see the leaves on the floor and you'd be like, ah, what happened? What did I do?
So
So,
they
ano
really are like
sila?
children, no? They really are just like
Yes.
children. They have their own emotions too.
Oh
It's
my
just
gosh, yes. There are some plants
yeah.
that are rebels. Like I have a fiddle
Mm-hmm.
leaf, the fiddle leaf fig and the rubber tree. I would never really suggest that for beginners. One
Mm-hmm.
day you'd water them, and if nasobrahan ka lang ng tubig, the leaves are like that, and then tomorrow they're
Yeah.
like that. They're like, oh
Oh,
my god,
bro. That quick, They just
yeah. So they
they
respond
react
so
so
fast.
quick. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. And
yeah. So I
since
can't
we're
really
so we're
answer.
getting so deliberate in this, like in this whole plant thing now at the Gretch, I just really want to know, Sad, like, do you consider it as a lifestyle or like a daily routine? Like, what do you
Um,
think?
it's my daily routine now. Like from the moment
Mm-hmm.
I wake up, before I do anything, I have to check my special children,
Your special children.
the ones that I'm trying to root up, waiting for a root to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a plant ICU in the other room. I have a
You
greenhouse.
what?
Yeah,
An
I have
ICU
like
for plants.
parang scientist levels na siya na may mga paraphernalia na tools na ako to help
Wow.
them grow. And then I also try. So if you're propagating, you can propagate in water. Some people do it in soil or in perlite. So there are a lot of soil amendments that you can use. Di ba parang, what is she talking about? Yeah, you learn it if you're really going talagang in depth na. I could
Yeah.
honestly say parang medyo bumorderline na ako to going to hardcore na to indoor gardening because you want to keep them alive. You do everything to keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's me trying, I have soil mixes that are worm compost. The other night, sorry for people who are watching and eating this, I was really afraid of insects, pests before, but sometimes it's inevitable. You bring nature
Yeah.
in your home. Sometimes it's in the pot. So I would be repotting and I would be on the floor digging up and then, the soil. Biglang may magsa-surprise na worm.
Ah.
So yesterday I was
Yeah.
repotting and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know saan ang galing yung worm na yun, but there was this earthworm this long,
That's
just like
big.
lurking around the floor. And I was like, normally I'd freak out, like
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'd be like jumping around. But now that I know that it's healthy for the soil. In fact, I even buy vermicast, which is a soil amendment, which is nutrients for your soil. It's earthworm
Mhm.
compost, meaning ano siya, mga waste siya nung mga worms. And I put it in
Ooh,
my soil
okay.
parang for fertilizer and to enhance the nutrients. So if I see an actual worm, why would I let you go? Why don't you live in my pot and like
Mhm.
give it nutrients?
Yeah, nutrify it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that even about like getting parang I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would actually want a worm living inside my home.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just live here. I have temporary worm borders in the pots
Yeah. They're just
just to
here and
keep the
there,
soil. Yeah.
It's like a hotel. Yeah. Okay. And since we're all so
Yes.
into indoor and outdoor plants, I'm guessing you also have outdoor plants, right, Ate Gretch? Or is it all indoor?
No, I don't. Everything is inside.
Oh,
All
everything is
indoor.
inside. Everything is inside. Okay. So this
Yes.
basically answers my question. I was gonna ask, what do you prefer, like indoor or outdoor? You really love indoor plants then?
I don't have a choice because my home really does not have any
Ah, okay.
outdoor
But if
area.
you were given an
So
opportunity,
I'm
would you widen your plant paradise?
I would definitely, if I had a garden, oh yes. But at the moment, I'm living really high.
Oh, okay.
Walang way. It doesn't have a balcony.
Mm,
So everything that I grow is indoors. A lot of people ask me now, how do you manage that your plants don't have direct sunlight or they're not outdoors? And I'm like, I'm just thankful they're okay. It's really a matter of making the plant adapt.
yeah.
You can't shock the plant coming from a direct area. If it's a tree and then you bring it home, syempre magtatampo yan, sanay siya sa sun. And now
Hmm.
it's like limited. So what I did is every corner of the house, if there's a window, I situate them. I pick the plants that needed the sunlight requirement. And then the low light plants, because you need to study that. You can't just get a plant and just bring it in your home. And if it needs a lot of sunlight and you're gonna put it in your bathroom, ano yun? It's like you being brought to a room with no light. And
Yeah.
bahala ka dyan.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it really each plant has each plant has a requirement for sunlight, for watering, for humidity, for things like for, well draining soil, what kind of soil to use. So before you bring in any plant, study it first. If
Mm.
you can give it the care and the conditions that will make it thrive. Don't expect the plant to thrive if dadalagay mo siya sa place na hindi siya magiging masaya. It's simple as that, right? It's
Yep.
like
It's like a
you're
relationship,
going
you
to
know?
eat. Oh wow, you got.
It's a it's a relationship, you know? If you don't give in the effort, then it won't work.
It won't.
Yes.
It really won't. Yeah.
Yes.
And you could tell na hindi siya talaga happy because
Mm.
like what you said, it's a give and take thing eh. Like any relationship. You
Hmm.
give it lots of your time, love, and the nutrients it needs. Syempre, what it will give back to you is it will grow. It will thrive. If not, if you just make it your decoration, ang kawawa naman, wag na lang.
Ooh.
Well, people
Ooh.
also ask me, do you encourage plastic plants? If
Do
they
you?
can't
Do you? Ooh, I want to know this. I want to know this. Do you, Ate Gretch?
no offense to people who have no who have plants. I mean, if they have plastic plants and they
Yeah.
don't want to care for. No offense, I am just
No
not a
offense. No offense.
believer. No. I don't
Mm.
know. It's more of like if I'm gonna put a plant there, I would really want it to be a real plant that I would care for. But if you think that you can't take good care of it and you think that you just want a decoration without the hassle of taking care of it, by all means, it's your choice,
Yeah.
diba?
Go ahead.
It's
It's a
your
free
life.
world. Yes.
It's a free world. It's your
Mm-hmm.
opinion, it's your choice, it's your space. Wala akong magagawa kung happy ka doon. Whatever makes
Yeah.
you happy, dapat happy ka, good vibes tayo.
Go
And that's
for
what
it. Go
planting
for
does.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to me, I just like a reaction from them, not like a literal reaction, but I want to get something from them. So I
Yeah,
like it
feedback.
living because I want to see, oo, na may feedback
Yeah,
siya. Hindi yung parang
yeah.
plastic. And also, plastic accumulates dust. And these
Mm-hmm.
also, that's why I always wipe them from time to time because for them to also photosynthesize, they need to absorb as much sunlight. And if they're covered in dust, mud, or whatever, syempre, maboblock yun. So you clean your plants, also the leaves. No problem if it's plastic, if wala naman siyang kailangan i-photosynthesize. But
Yeah.
I'm just more of a fan of living plants.
Okay, okay, wow. And let's take a, let's take a breather from the plants first. At the Gretch, oh my God, everyone that's watching this, let's take a deep breath and just properly process everything that we've learned. Okay, so at the Gretch, I would like to introduce to you a little segment that I call Ano Ito Mamser. Roll the intro, Pam.
Say what?
Okay, at the Gretch, please. I would like to I would like to really ask you. This is your photo, this is your selfie with The Rock. Okay? And I'm sure
Yes,
everyone
Dwayne
watching, yes?
Johnson.
Yes, that's Dwayne Johnson, everybody. You know him, okay? Whatever age you are, even my Lola knows him, okay? Ate Gretch, what is he like? What is he like in person?
He's super cool. So this was an international junket I did for one of his films. This interview was in Hong Kong, and
Mm-hmm.
the guy on the right is the director. He's such a cool guy. So The Rock took this selfie, and I gave him Manny Pacquiao gloves because he's a fan of Pacquiao, and Pacquiao had a fight.
Wow.
Super cool guy. Like whatever you see in his movies, diba? We know he's a
Yeah?
wrestler, action star, but he is a gentle giant. Like really warm, never a dull moment in the interview. Actually, within yung
Wow.
time slot ko with them because I just wanted to just chit chat. It
Amazing.
was just so fun. It was so fun,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. And
And he's
is
a
it
great dad.
really true
He's
he's
a really good
huge?
dad to his children. He's a
Yeah.
family man. Such a great
Wow.
example. That's why I know that he's one of the most bankable stars of this
Mm-hmm.
generation because he's really a whole package. He's a dad. He's an action star. He's so funny, and he's so cool. So I love The
Yeah,
Rock.
he's really one of the people I look up to. He's living, I don't know, he's living an amazing life, Jid. Yeah, and I want to ask also, is he really that huge? Like, is he really as big as it looks like in the movies?
Yes, but at this for this movie, hindi siya ganun ka really buff, but he is still
Mm.
big and buff. Yeah, definitely like bugin niya tayo ng buhay. Yeah, but that's
Okay,
what I
okay.
like about him. He's huge, he's stocky, he's so fit,
Yeah,
but then his personality is so gentle, he's
it's
soft
so soft.
spoken. Yeah,
Yeah,
kaya sobrang ang galing. Parang isipin mo,
yeah,
"Hey." But when he starts talking, parang if he doesn't talk and you look at him and you just like
yeah.
admire him
His
from afar,
smolder.
yeah, ano ka eh, what do you call that? May intimidate ka. But when he starts
Yeah.
talking to you, when he cracks jokes, you'd be
Uh-huh.
like, oh, ang bait pala niya. Funny.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move to the next one. Look at that. That right there. And my question for this was, how were you not scared? That is your bare hands at the grudge. How are you not scared? What went inside your head here?
Okay, so every day, or there would be days in TV Patrol in the past years. I've been doing TV Patrol on November to be 10 years na, anchoring for Star
Wow.
Patrol. And
Congratulations.
Kuya Kim would be bringing all these exotic animals in the studio from dogs, cats, rabbits, snakes, some
Mhm.
insects, cockroaches, or whatever. And then my favorite would be like that, little crocodiles or alligators. And my favorite is snake. I don't know
Yeah.
why I like snakes so much. I love to touch the skin, the scales. I would actually even put it over my neck. One was so big that it was like 150 pounds. People were like,
Wow.
how did you carry that? And I said, I
How
did a
did
lot
you
of
carry
squats
that?
before when I was in the national team for swimming. So, yeah, I don't know. Whenever I see animals, I think there's a side for me when it comes to animals. I love dogs, but of course, this is not like a dog. I don't have
Yeah.
any alligators here, crocodiles or
Yeah.
snakes in my home. But I'm just
You
so
can't just tap a alligator.
I'm just so curious what it feels like to touch the skin,
Mm.
and there would always be a caretaker naman who would say, "Ma'am, be careful, it might snap." So that you asked
Ah.
me earlier if I'm a risk taker, diba? Yeah, I think
Yep,
I am. Look
that's
at that.
that's the living proof right there. That's photo proof. Okay, let's move on to the next. That's a good one right there. Okay, Gretchen Fullido. Look at that with Ryan Reynolds. That's Deadpool right there. How was he
Yeah,
like?
so
What was he like?
I interviewed Ryan Reynolds last year for this is for Pokemon. He was the voice of Pikachu. And before this, that's why we had this selfie. This was in Japan. I interviewed him in Korea previously for
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool. So, parang in a way, sometimes they recognize you na from the international media. Oh, you interviewed me before and stuff like that. So, we were actually in a yacht in this photo
Wow.
for the Pokemon press junket. And then it was so cold. Well, we were just having a lot of fun, and he was Pikachu there. Blake
Ah,
Lively's
yes, yes.
wife was pregnant at this time. So we were talking about that, being a father, because he has such a great sense of humor. He's a funny
Yeah.
guy. So
Yes, all his movies are so funny, Jude.
yeah,
My
he's so
gosh.
he's so witty. Like
Yeah.
whenever I would be interviewing him, he would have this poker face and he's actually cracking a joke and I'd be like, oh, okay.
You're
And
like,
then
what?
I also
Let's
like
just
one of
laugh.
his movies. I
Yeah.
also love I really like his films.
Yeah.
Even from the proposal with Sandra Bullock before. That's one of my favorite films. And
Mm.
yeah, I've been a fan. So I was just so lucky that my work brought me to so many different places, made me meet a lot of new people and interview my idols. Because I'm
Yeah.
first and
That's
foremost a fan. I'm a fan. So
yeah.
preparing for these interviews, actually, I couldn't sleep a week or two. Or the
Wow.
moment I know that I'm going to go on a junket and interview these people, I do my research na, I study, and I get like, I prepare my clothes, I'm like trying to be composed, practicing my interview. Sometimes it's spontaneous also, but then, you don't want to fumble it up because you only have a few minutes with them. Normally, there's a
Yeah.
time slot. So you
Mm-hmm.
just want to get and ask as much questions as you can. And yeah, I was just really fortunate, and I'm really so thankful looking back all the memories that I had with them and the interviews. They're also uploaded, by the way, on my YouTube. It's a Greta Live. So Willie Bobby
Yes.
Brown is there. We've got
You
Westlife.
met Tom Holland, right? You met
Sorry.
Tom Holland. You met Tom Holland at the
Yes,
Gretch.
I interviewed
Oh my
Tom Holland
god.
din siya. He's funny, and
He is.
at the same junket, we were doing Spider-Man Far Away from Home, so that was in Bali. Chris Hemsworth was also promoting MIB at that time, so it was a
Mm.
back-to-back junket in Indonesia. So I interviewed Thor
Wow.
and Spider-Man and ganyan. So sabi ko nga, sana lahat ng Avengers. Yeah, maybe.
Just the whole
Possible.
gang. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, for sharing, Ate Gretch. Okay. This one. This yoga mat is huge. What do you use it for?
Okay, so I do a lot of cardio workout. So this
Mhm.
is an Anzen athlete mat. The cushioning of that is about 2 inches thick because I do a lot of jumps, basta mga acrobatics. I don't do
Yeah.
yoga. It's actually high intensity workout, and there's a lot of
Oh.
jumps. And I wanna
Okay.
cushion my knees and my ankles. So if you just, I also do running, and I noticed that the wear and tear for the ankles, knees, hips is really the pavement is so bad. So this mat is actually good for contact sports like jujitsu, things that you hit your
Oh.
body with. So when I got
Okay.
this mat and when I tried it, grabe, wow, as in para akong nagja-jump sa foam. It's so
Wow.
stable. Now I work out with this mat without shoes because I'm building the stability of my ankles and my knees. So ang galing niya because it makes it low impact. Your high
Yeah.
impact workout but soft on your joints. And we don't want
Mm.
also when we get older na we would, have injuries. Thank God no injuries whatsoever. So
Yeah.
yeah, you just want to prevent injuries and strengthen the ligaments without kasi nauubos yan, di ba? Wear and tear.
Mhm.
So I just want to
Yeah.
prolong my lifestyle of fitness and being an athlete. So I want to be working out till I'm old. So I want my
Yeah.
joints strong.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Okay. And that's where we end the short little segment. I hope you had fun at the Gretch. So thank you. Thank you for your sharings. Thank you for your sharings. Okay. So back to the interview. It's okay. We're coming to an end. And I would like to ask this question at the Gretch in behalf of my mom. Hi, Mame. If you're watching, I love you. Yes. Okay. Oh my God. At the Gretch said hi to my mom. Let's go. Okay. Okay. So this is for my mom because I want my mom's plants to, live just as happy as your plants. Okay. So I would also want to direct this to all the plantitos and titas. What are the most common mistakes that a plantita or plantito can make?
I think that common mistake would be being over complacent with things.
Like
Because
how?
when I say over complacent, it's like you think that what you're doing is right and forever it's foolproof. No, because there are some things that we can't control. What
Mm,
planting also taught me is sometimes, even if you give it the best conditions, what it needs, there sometimes can still, there it could rot. Things
yeah.
like that. There are things that you can't control that because it's nature, it just happens. So even if the soil is good, you water it properly, it can still get sick. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the common mistake people is they think na, oh, I'm doing that right now. They don't continue learning.
Yeah.
So I think that the best thing that I could tell people is never stop learning. Never stop researching. Even if your plant is doing amazing, I always have this mindset that it can do even better. How can I make it grow faster? How can I make it, have more babies? How can I propagate it? So, but
Yeah.
if you're happy na and everything's going well naman, sure, why not? Diba? Don't fix it if it's not broke, sabi nga nila. But
Mm-hmm.
also, I think when people start getting more and more plants, napapabayaan na nila. So,
Yeah.
yun lang. Remember that each time you bring home a plant, that's another life that you have to care for. And you want to give them as equal love and time. Diba? Sa dami
Mm-hmm.
nila, mauubos talaga yung day mo. Like me, I
Yeah.
really have to allocate a portion of my day in the morning before I leave for work, when I go home. When I go home at night, it's basically really to check up on them. Because
Yeah.
if something happens, the next day, magugulat ka na lang, oh my God, what happened? You were okay yesterday, but you didn't check at night. But I also don't want
Yeah.
you to stop your life and just do planting. Of course, there are other things you need to do, take care of your children, work, and stuff like that. But what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying is, if you want to have a healthy indoor garden or garden, you also need to give it the time and the effort. So if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that time, or if you don't want the responsibility, don't take in too much. Just get what you can handle, diba? And
Yeah.
what you can manage. Don't go for really challenging plants muna kung hindi mo naman kaya talagang tutukan kasi sayang din if something happens to it, diba?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
just
Thank
die.
you.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Atagas. So basically, what you said, nature is nature, So whatever happens, happens. Even if you give it too much love, even if you give it all the love you can,
Yes.
just like a relationship, who hashtag hugot. No matter how much you love a person, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Char.
Agree, agree,
Okay,
agree.
yeah, and oh my god. Okay, so we're coming to the final stages of this talk. Ate Gretch, please, what is your message, your final message to all the plantitos and titas out there watching right now?
I just hope that planting gives you joy, and let's enjoy planting and spread good vibes. I think plants also, the reason why we bring them into our homes is to make us happy. And let's also make them happy by giving them the love and the care that they deserve. So let's just enjoy. And we make friends, a planting community.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. I never thought I would meet like people in this aspect na um, I was actually shocked with one of my posts, the alocasia, the bajang, that reached like
Yeah.
one day. I was just checking. Oh my gosh! When I woke up, it's 2 million, and a few days after, oh my gosh, 10 million. Na. But because of that, it also opened my eyes to raising awareness to people that, guys, we love plants, but then we have to be responsible, plantitos and plantitas too, because sometimes the plants that we want may be endangered. So you have to also be responsible that what you're bringing in is not part of the vulnerable list of the DNR, and the way that they would be getting the plants. I hope that you get from nurseries that propagate. That's why I propagate. Pinapadami ko sa kanila kasi ayokong kuha ng kuha sa labas, because we're also damaging the environment. As much as
Yeah.
we're trying to save the environment, kung kinakalbo naman natin yung mountain, just trying to accumulate all the plants we can, and people, of course, they want to make a profit at the moment, we forget that we also damage Mother Nature. So let's just be
Wow.
responsible also. Before we buy a plant, let's check. Let's check if it's from a nursery, hindi yan kinuha, hindi yan pinoach sa gubat, hindi yan endangered, di ba? Kasi remember, in nature, if you remove something in the ecosystem and it's gone, that whole thing will be imbalanced. May
Yeah.
mga walang balance dyan eh. May mamamatay
Yeah.
pang ibang animals or
The cycle
insects, whatever.
stops.
There's a cycle. There's a web here that's,
Mhm.
how nature is. So
Yeah.
let's just be responsible. Before we get the plant, make sure it's from a nursery that's reputable, hindi siya pinoach, hindi siya pinugot kung saan. And again, take care of the plants. Kasi, yeah, you got it nga, pinatay mo naman. Parang don't, you plant it. I know though, I'm not gonna blame people na namatay ng plants. A lot of my plants also died, were casualties for whatever reason.
Mm.
But, huwag ka lang kuha ng kuha tapos hindi mo naman naalagaan. Huwag na lang. Hayaan mo na lang siyang maging masaya sa labas o sa ibang tao na magkikare sa kanya. Kung hindi mo rin naalagaan, think twice if you're still going to get it. Kasi nga, kawawa naman. It's like getting a pet. You
Yeah.
get a dog, yun ang pinabayaan mo siya.
Yeah.
Kawawa. Same
Exactly.
ba na?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Thank
let's just
you.
be responsible.
Yeah. And I just like to say what you said. Guys, everyone, plantitos, plantitas watching, just remember the two things that Ate Gretch said. Be responsible and be positive.
Yes.
That applies to all aspects. Thank you so much for that, Ate Gretch. And please, before we end tonight's episode and the season, please tell us where we can find your plants.
Oh,
Give us
okay.
your plugs.
I always post my plants on my Instagram account at Gretchen Fullido, or my plant account at plantita Greta. And then I do a lot of tutorials and videos about my plants. I teach how I propagate my plants. I just share my knowledge, whatever limited knowledge I have. I just want to share it. Maybe it applies to you, maybe it won't work for you, but I'll just put it out there. Maybe it can help. So my YouTube channel is It's a Greta Life. The link is also in my bio on Instagram.
Okay.
And if you want to follow my Facebook page, everything's there, also my plans. Gretchen Fullido official page. So I hope you can follow me, and I'll be seeing you. And I really appreciate, when people send me comments or ask me questions about that. I'll try my very best to help as much as I can. But of course, I don't have all the answers in the world. But
Yeah.
if I can, I will try to give you my inputs on things. Some people, they would send me photos of their plants. Miss Gretch, why is there a yellowing in the leaf? What's happening? So like things like that. So we try to solve things. Again, I would also stress that planting, to me, it's trial and error also eh. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sino mag-a-adjust? Ikaw, siya. Syempre ako, di ba?
Yeah.
So
True.
it's
True.
really like talagang adapting, learning from them, and really just, just parang adding knowledge to yourself. If you want to be good at planting, you need to do the due diligence on studying also, and on online learning, di ba? Reading up. But again, application is still different from what we read. Malalaman mo lang talaga yung mga ganap sa plants pag nandyan na siya and nangyayari na siya sa harap mo.
Yeah.
So, talagang it's really experience that's your best teacher.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I just want to say, if I could, I just put it there. Experience is your best teacher, right there. Wow. Wise words from the Ate Gretch. Thank you so much, Ate Gretch, for tonight. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your knowledge and your plans to us. I know in behalf of everyone watching, all of us would like to thank you for your, amazing hobby. It's just you're such an inspiration to all the plantitas and titas, and to everyone watching. Thank you guys so much. That is season 2. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you. For the last time, this is Kali, Youth Talks. Thank you for watching. 3, 2, 1.